This is the manifesto of the Kenya Kwanza government, and it is the promise that they had to Kenyans. One of the commitment of President William RUTO, and I saw somebody saying we have lost, as a government, we have lost our manifesto. Madam Speaker, I can confirm that the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza is still there. Because I saw some people saying in social media that the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza is missing. It's not, it's here. And one of the agenda is the digital superhighway and creative economy. This is one of the manifesto that the president undertook. And therefore, when we will build on issues of fiber optics, and we are going to give at least every constituency 100 computers and ICT labs. And young people will be able to work from their constituencies in those labs remotely. And therefore, this creative economy, the digital economy, superhighway. So this right to disconnect. You can imagine you are working somewhere remotely for the last since 7 in the morning up to evening. This right to disconnect is because there is tempting for you to stay on the computer, to stay long hours because either of many challenges. So on this, you can see the government is moving on ways of having digital superhighway and creative economy where young people, Madam Speaker, will ensure that, so it is captured in our engagement. Even when you look at the section on the public service, not the service economy, but public service, I am, Madam Speaker, and therefore this should be in place because the public service should also be creative. I am surprised, Madam Speaker, when you look at the Charter of Public Service, it talks about the presidential award system digitally. They are yet, our public service as a country are yet to adapt to the changes of working remotely from home. So when you look at this, and that is why I was looking at the, Madam Speaker, at the annual report for the financial year. I think this is almost the late on the Public Service Commission. I've read through it, Madam Speaker, but unfortunately, they are yet to adapt to the issues of remote working. And I think the biggest employer is government. We must see a way of working from home to ensure we provide service. But even as this, Madam Speaker, it is important that the working from home should, the Public Service Commission, the PSC, should also change its ways and be able to accommodate. And therefore, Madam Speaker, just for the benefit of Kenyans and all of us and colleagues who are following, out of work means hours other than the hours of work agreed upon between an employer and employee in the contract of employment. So if you work at night shift, the fact that the rules and regulations of Employment Act says 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., if your contract says, for example, on our colleagues who work as the secretariat in your office, Madam Speaker, maybe their contract or the agreement as they work from 9 a.m. to maybe 7 p.m. So that is what I mean by definition. If you are, for example, your bodyguard or your driver, Madam Speaker, works between maybe 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. and is agreed, that is what I mean out of working hours. Madam Speaker, our deepest condolences. We were informed that you lost your driver. Our prayers and thoughts are with the family of your driver, and we keep praying for you. Madam Speaker, the right to disconnect means an employee's entitlement not to be contacted by employer during out-of-work hours as by the employer's policy. Madam Speaker, in relationship, this thing would work very rightly. Because when people, especially as young people, when you no longer want somebody, you block them. When they boot you in our street languages, and they leave you, this can work very well, right, to disconnect, where young people will block you, unakula block, and I think that is what, so that is what it means, the right to disconnect. And therefore, Madam